Greetings and salutations at our distance. It is I, Wolfphototech, and here we are with another delightful video. This has been overdue for a long time, and then all of a sudden we had the OGL insanity. Set it on top higher up so you can easily see it. This is the campaign case terrain set. And if you notice, I have my camera at a different angle this time, so it might be a little bit better viewing. But anyways, as you can see, this is just one of those cheapo. This is a cheapo extra box on the outside that shows the contents. I've already torn into it. This box out on the outside is clearly not designed to be opened and saved. It's clearly designed to be opened and thrown away, which is a thing that kind of bothers me always. Because there's no easy way of opening this box without actually ripping it. It's all glued together. You happen to have a handy-dandy handle on the top that pulls out the internal box. By the way, this thing is like $80. And I bought this on sale for $64. That is a point of reference for people. There is no MSRP noted on the outside box. It's clearly a luxury item or a air quotes premium item. I have to get into a habit of actually looking at my camera. But personally, I don't care for premium appearing items. I like premium quality in the variety of options and tools, or etc., 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 with the exception of making it just pretty. Okay, first and foremost, this box is actually rather deceptive. The first time I got it, I thought that it slides out because there happens to be this little notch here where you can put your fingers into to get a grip on it. So I thought you pulled it out, and it became clear when I pulled on it the first time I got it that was not the case. So the truth is, it's actually this stupid little flap up here that is held down by magnet, which is a nice feature to have it hold into place up on top here by the magnet, and it goes through the handle. I did the the monster case in a previous video, so you can go back a few videos and see the monster case of this. But anyways, it folds. Gotta adjust the camera. It flips up. By the way, I have this sitting on top of my some of my books and my starter sets that I have to do in videos. But this flap goes up. This flap goes out, and as you can see, it continues. It's not a joint at the top; it's a joint at the bottom, which makes it easy for the flap to do this thing, go under, and have it sit on a table level or quasi-level, because this is actually, it's partially thicker to one side, but it's a minor thickness, that it still sits relatively level. And then in the top, you have this ribbon here, which is kind of nice, that pulls out the top tray. There's a top tray, and in the top tray, there just so happens to be, it actually probably should go this way, go across, so I had it the wrong way. It goes that way. There is this folder here on the very top. By the way, I've never used this because right around the time I started, right around the time I got this, I actually shifted away from using maps because a lot of players get a little too fussy with distances and exact tactics where they want to angle themselves up just right so they don't hit anything they don't want to hit, and then they worry about, oh no, I could move 5 more feet, but I can't do the thing I want to do, but I want to do the thing I want to do, so I cannot move that extra 5 feet in distance, and it turns into the whole him ha, him ha, him ha. And then you just like, it's better to go with theater of the mind sometimes with some players or some groups, just because it just eliminates that, and you're like, yeah, it's about 25 to 30 feet away. You could just mentally set the person on the field however they want, however it is. And then you set it up, if someone says, oh, I want to use this spell. Well, the original version of the situation, they were standing 60 feet away, but they need to be within 30 feet. Well, I'm going to just move them. I'm just going to move them just so they can do the thing they want to do. So these are the nice little stick-on Klingons that go on to your various maps. You can stick them down on the grid here, and you got just a few of them. You got, oops, that's going to fall over. In this top, there's this nice little soft vellum sheet to protect the surfaces of all this stuff, because this is a premium item. So you have some carts and tents and dead people on the ground and some food and supplies that'll be useful at one point. You got rubble and various other things. And it goes over onto the other side. That's all fairly nice. My. Pull out the sheet. You got some stair. In this sheet, there's actually a bundle of sheets, actually. Just set that on top. There's 1, 2, 3, and then there's 2 others, which is a grand total of 5. And all these are actually rather nice. You got a decent variety. You got outdoors. You got indoors. You got monuments and staircases and various other fun things. As I said before, you got dead people on that one, as well as tents and carts and a little roadway and some more staircases and stuff like that. Spiral. So that's actually fairly nice, and it's actually a fairly decent folder. However, the folder would have been nice to have some extra information down here, denoting other things inside the case or anything. I've showed you some screens that actually had pictures of what comes in the folder. Ooh. I'm actually going to open this because this looks to be like the reincarnated terrain panels, which I've actually shown before on this channel from the old sets, which are actually basically re-releases of 4th edition. You actually would not believe, if you dig through 4th edition and you read through all the products and you read through the mechanics and all the other fun stuff in 4th edition, as well as 5th edition, you'll start noticing a lot of stuff that got recycled from 4th edition into 5th edition. And even a lot of character abilities and mechanics got recycled into 5th edition. A lot of races have basically daily powers and encounter powers and other stuff like that from 4th edition added into 5th edition. They just use different terminology for them. Yep, this is the exact same thing. There's one just like this in another case, and it's actually way cheaper than this. Actually, exact same one. I've actually used this one from the other case, It takes fairly well to dry erase and wet erase markers, but it's nowhere near, even vaguely near the quality of the Paizo ones. If you really want good ones, get Paizo brand and battle maps and flip mats and such and flip tiles. Paizo produces really good ones. I'm not joking. There's that other vellum sheet to protect these little baggies in here. And in these little baggies, there's these handy dandy tiles that should be in here. And I think I know what tiles they're going to be. And I actually did not open this because, as I said, I switched using maps to Theater of the Mind just because some players get really fussy about placement. And these are actually puzzle tiles, which is actually kind of nice because you can piece them together, which is in a weird way actually superior to the big flip out one because you can make your own terrain or field as big or small as you want. And it's all interior dungeon. There's interior dungeon or temple and outside in the grass plains area. Interestingly enough, I can draw better grass than that. Plus, I practically have 1.5 years of college credits in art. Of course, I have a bad wrist now, so it's going to take me a long time to get up to my old skill level again. So this bundle, you got one that is basically just nothing but, let's check it in here. There's nothing in the bottom. So you got one baggie that has puzzle piece, dungeon / outdoor wilderness or plains tiles. And then you have a second bag in here, because there's two in there, as I said before. And I open that up. Which is, yet again, some more of those tiles. So this got me feeling this is really redundant. See, this would have been perfectly fine is if they just gave me these two bags of tiles. And in this tray, they would have had more of these sticky Klingon on pieces. Instead of sticking this in. It kind of now feels like they could have done one or the other. One or the other. I actually like these better. Just because you can, as I said before, you need a section like this. Just a dungeon corridor. You can piece a dungeon corridor together with these. And then you could have it jaunt off to the side, like so. And I like that. And they're fairly cheap, and this is basically the same process. By the way, in the case of these, the Wizards of the Coast, WizKids ones, and stuff like that, do not leave dry erase or wet erase markers on these. It's really hard to get them off. However, if you were to get dry erase or wet erase markings on them, there's a simple tip where you can just take, if you got a dry erase line that you want to remove that's stuck on there good, you take that same dry erase marker and you paint back over it the line that you can't get off, and you just keep adding it. The line will eventually disappear, and then you'll be able to wipe it off. That is because the new applied layer of the dry erase marker has a compound in it that keeps it in its fluid state. And then when it's reapplied to the dried piece, it reactivates the ink or the marker ink, and it pulls it back up so you can move it around again. It even works on permanent markers. It's just not amazing on permanent markers, though. So if you got a permanent marker on something you want to get rid of, you just take a dry erase marker and you wipe it over, and you have to work it. You just work it in, and it will rehydrate the marker lines, and you'll be able to erase it then. So this thing is like, I think they sell currently for like anywhere from $64 to $80. And I personally, this is an awful big box just to have 2 little packets in here. It's a pretty box. There's nothing else in there. You have these 2 packets in here. You throw this tray back on top. There's some clings in here. There's that big one in here. Yet again, I'll say, they should have just simply did not include this big one here. And just went with more of those, they could have just gone more with more of these puzzle piece ones here in here. Maybe shift it over slightly. Oh, it's in there the wrong way. I think when I first picked this out, I put it back in the wrong way. This actually, there's this notch here that actually goes right where the handle is. Boom. But anyways, I would have gone with more of these puzzle pieces. Maybe if they remove this section here and just simply put some shorties in here that click onto the ends to remove the jig-jag in there and make it a little bit bigger. Got rid of this, put more clings, a bigger folder, or actually 2 folders with way more clings in there, into this top tray here, and that would have been nice if they had ends here in the bottom tray, and they had more clings. The big one, that's more hassle than anything. So, and they include nice artwork that sits in the gap there, and it all goes together nicely. As I said, it looks nice. But I'm like, I don't want. I would say $80 is too much, and heck, $64 is probably too much. Wizards of the Coast spent too much. Wizards of the Coast spent too much money and time making the case look nice. And in fact, funny enough is, if you just sold the tiles out of this and the clings in better packets, you would have just got rid of the case, and Dungeon Masters could have just gone and put their clings and their tiles in puzzle tiles into one of their Game Master bags. I got one. Incidentally, I love this bag. I absolutely love this bag. It's an amazing bag. I have this handy dandy compartment here for dice. I have another compartment over here for more dice. This top compartment is a handy dandy compartment for minis in the top of this bag. There's this nice section for books. I happen to have my Pathfinder books in it right now. And this front section right here would have been a great place to put all those tiles from the set in this bag. And instead, I could have transported this whole bag, all those tiles and everything in this bag, and would have done away with the box. And Game Masters have to carry a lot of stuff if they're going to a third place. another place separate from themselves already. So having another box like this is a pain in the butt. So this is one of those things that I probably would say that might have been devised by someone who does not play TTRPGs. It's a beautiful piece of packaging, but this is completely unnecessary. This is an extra level of waste on top of it. There's also a piece of cardboard that fits on top of this, like that, in the box, just so the handle can sit inside it, inside this box. So, then again, as I said, I love these tiles. I like this. I could do with more clings. This is not necessary. You can actually buy that cheaper in other places, and Wizards of the Coast also sold it separately in its own little packaging. So what they did is basically repackage some of the stuff they had already manufactured or designed, and they literally got me to buy it a second time. You can only do that so many times, Wizards of the Coast, before people stop buying things outright. Stick that in that shelf. Oh, I'm just going to leave it there. Oh! I left the cellophane out. But anyways, if they simplified this down and didn't waste so much material on this box, and instead would have put more tiles in it, or more clings in the bundle, and the Game Master could have just put all his tiles and his clings in his Game Master carry bag, which, by the way, I endorse this bag to the moon and back. The only thing is, it doesn't have enough. I have pawns from Pathfinder that I use instead of minis, but there's only enough in here to have enough minis for 3 or 4 games. But just player minis, there's not enough room in here to just make this your regular mini bag. Oops. This is like this bag by the way right here is like $89, I think, which is a superior travel option than this case. It has nice little hooks, loops here, so you can put maps through. Might have been nicer if there was actually a second set of a series of these in a loop that actually attach to the top here, so you can actually put multiple maps across. And that way it double locks itself. And it's actually fairly sturdy overall. But anyways, this thing right here is way too much money. You don't get enough in it. And there's so much wasted material in just making it into a pretty box that you have to haul around with you, which is less efficient than simply taking all the clings out, taking the tiles out of here, and the clings, and your monster tokens from the campaign creature case, and just putting them all in one bag that you can easily carry on your shoulder to your place of travel. Yeah. So I'm giving this at a tops a 3-star. That's it. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And see you next time. And I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful week, and a magnificent month. And keep your stick on the ice.